everyone and welcome. I'm Jacob and this is the operational navigation training session. Today we're going to talk about flying low-level navigation training. A couple of words first about prerequisites for this session. So what should be done to be able to apply for that training is, like you see here in the training program, you need to be qualified for instrument flying, like you see here. You need to go through ON01, then airway navigation, and then through FM04 to BFM1 to BFM01, and you have to complete ON02 ground training session. So what this is it's a ground training session that covers all the aspects of flight planning and route construction. So one of those ground school sessions is designed to give you a basic knowledge of flight planning and flight rules, FR, VFR, and ATC procedures. And that one is concentrated on using that knowledge for flight planning and constructing your route in SkyWagner in P3D and importing those data into your memory unit. Okay, so what we're doing today is called ON03, low-level navigation training. The reason why you need to be instrument qualified is because you really don't know what's the weather will be during your flight to your military training route, or how we have here the Sidewinder low-level procedure planned. So it may be an IFR departure, maybe VFR, but as we will be flying in Class A airspace, it's for sure an IFR, and we will climb, as we will cover later, flight level 220 on this flight plan, and then we'll descend to low level closer to Sierra Nevada mountains. Alright, so let's start with timing. Right now it's 1500 local time. In the same way, I have P3D open and connected to server, and now right now it's 1400 and 2200 Zulu. So once we're done with the briefing, engine start time will be 1500. The first takeoff is scheduled for 1520, and Zulu time is going to be 2320. And pay attention to this required add-on section, that because you may not be able to see some objects during this session if you don't have all the required add-ons. So right now I have everything loaded and enabled in P3D. This is Photorail California Active Sky Next in live weather mode, and of course KNLC Scenery. Alright, the course state is configured, and we have only one flight frac today. This is F-18E number 101. Myself, center line, FPU-11, and targeting pod, and no more weapon loaded. Takeoff time is 1520. Okay, no targets today. It's navigation training. My call sign is Fury 1. Alright, so that was our timing, and no timing target as well, except one thing. We need to calculate our time on exit waypoint from our procedure to report this to ATC before we join waypoint alpha, before we join this procedure, waypoint alpha. Okay, so I'm gonna do this in flight, but for flight planning we can keep that, because this flight plan right here in data card include all the route up to the north and back south through the valley. And to save time, we'll follow Jedi transition that goes right from waypoint C, where the cursor is right here, over Owens Lake, and straight to waypoint J right here. Alright, so what we need is waypoint Alpha time and waypoint Juliet time, and we will calculate what's the difference for what's the difference between flying the entire procedure and proceeding from waypoint C to J straight, because the current version of data card does not take into account sequence that you have in the MU. But in the MU we have sequence loaded as follows: waypoint 0 to 6, and then waypoint 13, just like we were planning to do. Okay, so pay attention to this profile. Those altitudes you see here are just altitudes for waypoints. We won't necessarily be flying that craft at these altitudes. Okay, so they are for reference only, because this is a low-level procedure. I will stop that later, and it's designed for 3,000 feet AGL and lower. Okay, so let's proceed with the briefing. Our comms plan will go as follows. We start at Lemoore with Lemoore delivery, Lemoore 8 is actually. I have right here the frequency, it's channel 1, and as we have 80s, we'll switch to delivery and request clearance. Alright, I'll check for delivery frequency a little later, and I can see this in my approach place or airport diagram in ForeFlight, but as we distribute the briefing package to our pilots, we make sure that it has all the specific data, like approach plates and airport diagrams that the pilot may need to fly the story. Okay, so once we've got our clearances, and this is an IFR flight to waypoint alpha and VFR, from waypoint alpha to waypoint Mike, then switching back to IFR and following to this waypoint right here, which is Echo Hotel Foxtrot. Okay, and we're going to request clearance. Here's the template for your clearance. Most likely this is going to be Lemoore 8 departure, straight runway heading when airborne, and expect radar vectoring to WED. I will be talking as ATC and as a pilot both, so to familiarize you with these procedures. It may sound not very realistic, but it's better than nothing, and it'll do its job. It will get you familiar with the ATC procedure, since there will be no more traffic around. I will have no wingman, and all those communications will not be mixed up. So I think it's going to work, and we will proceed straight to waypoint 2, and as directed by ATC, we'll switch to Auckland Center. Okay, Auckland Center frequencies we can find on the World Low IFR map. Like here we have 128.7. That's one more reason why we use SkyVector, because it's so easily to refer to different frequencies and switch between the map types. Okay. Alright, so we will proceed to waypoint WED, which is right here, and join this airway straight to Alpha Victor Echo, then Echo Hotel Foxtrot. And this is we will be changing frequencies in accordance with the ATC clearances, but some frequencies we have here, we have a few frequencies of Auckland Center and Los Angeles Center programmed into our RMUS channels. So if I see in my data card that I have a channel for that frequency, if I have it programmed, I will just switch. If not, I will just punch it in manually. That's okay. Alright, one very important note, that we need to get clearance before we enter operational airspace, special use airspace like military areas. So all those areas are active, and you can see this in our air tasking order in the no TAMS section right here. Those areas, this map goes right from this FAA webpage, and this is a condition for pre-flight planning. And right now they're all active. You see the active times right here, and here's our, let me find, there's Owens MOA and Owens air traffic control airspace, air traffic control assigned airspace. So what that means is that starting from that time to that time, which is today, those areas will be active for our flight, and the control agency will have full authority over those airspace. The control agency frequency can be found right here. Sorry about that. Control agency frequency we can see here. Yeah. Josh approach 120.25, 127.5, or for Isabella MOA, this is going to be 133.65. Okay. We have those frequencies in our data cards, so you will have something to refer to. All right. So I will show you how to request this clearance, and this is not really a military training route. So normal military training route procedures may not be as accurate as they are in pure military training route, like the one we have here. No, it's very close to IR 236 military training route. For Sidewinder route, we use that procedure. So as you can see, there's a description of all the waypoints and landmarks and elevations, and there are some specific procedures to follow. So when we have contact with Joshua approaching 133.6, I will also simulate this. That will clear us through the airspace and through the procedure and give us the information about the traffic they have in this airspace and on this procedure. They will clear us through this procedure and give us the traffic information, basically how many airplanes and where are they on this procedure and in which airspace exactly. Alright, after that we'll lose radio contact with them, and procedure tells us to make advisory calls on 315.9 UHF frequency. Since we have no UHF radio in P3D, we will just stay at 133.65 and transmit all our advisory calls there. Okay. So like it says, we will give advisory calls blind. We will not expect anyone to answer because our transmission may be masked by the terrain, by the mountains. But every time we enter the valley, or like you see here, Owens Lake, or past the mountains, we'll make those advisory calls, which waypoint we're going to, and who are we, a flight of F-18 Singleton, and our intentions. Okay, so all the air traffic around this route, because we'll be aware of our activities, because people are coming from north and they join this procedure at any point. So what we're going to do is to make all those advisory calls approaching significant waypoints and valleys. Okay. Alright, so like I said, we'll proceed to waypoint Bravo. We have TFR here, which says a firefighting activity is in progress. Yeah, it says no pilots may operate in this area to make firefighting aircraft clear of traffic. So what we are going to do is we will stay in this canyon right over the river, and it will guide us past this waypoint, and being waypoint Bravo. It's about 1 mile or maybe less, and we'll proceed from being waypoint Bravo straight waypoint Charlie. Okay, and this is how we're going to avoid this TFR. Sorry. Alright, some more significant points. Generally, we should avoid all uncontrolled airports by at least 3 nautical miles or 1,500 feet vertically, but I find it more convenient to avoid them by 3 miles, like we have here, Trone Airport. I will show you how to avoid it, and it's really very simple. It's all about using your HMD to log that airport, as you can see it visually, and you immediately get the distance to target, and this should be no closer than 3 nautical miles. Okay. Alright, so the exit waypoint, a couple of words about Jedi transition, there's a canyon right here, which is called Rainbow Canyon, and it's straight on the line from waypoint C to waypoint J, and that's the one we're going to follow. Be very careful there, because when you fly this procedure for the first time, you will probably need to get used to it, to pass this canyon and lower speed, or even higher, not getting down into the canyon, and see if you can do all those maneuvers. But if you're flying within 500 knots, there's no problem. You need 5 or probably 6 G pull to make all those turns in the canyon. All right. Okay, so as we reported to ATC, our exit waypoint will be Mike right here, and ATC will assign altitude at which they want us to be over waypoint Mike, and we will contact them here, reporting our intentions. As we have IFR flight plan filed to check in back with Los Angeles Center, we will just need to contact them, okay, and report our intentions. Okay, they will pick up our flight plan and provide all the services, radar service. And after Echo Holland Foxtrot, we will proceed straight to Lemoore for VFR or IFR recovery. All right. That was our waypoint plan and comms plan. And speaking about weather, pretty good weather, unlike yesterday at Lemoore today. So if we switch layers, there's one more reason to use SkyVader for briefings and flight planning. Some thick clouds over Lemoore right now, but as you can see here, they're reporting clear skies and 10 miles of visibility. All right. We expect runway 32 left and right to be in use, right for takeoff and left for recovery. And as we proceed along our flight plan, there is a very thin cloud coverage, so we expect visual conditions right here. But just to talk about our contingencies procedures, if we can see the valley, the canyon right here, if we're not visual before waypoint Alpha, we will proceed along this route in the airspace, climbing to minimum safe altitude, which in this case will be 10,500 plus 2,000 feet, which makes it 12,500. So from waypoint Alpha to waypoint Bravo, we'll climb 12,500, and if we lose contact with ground, due to clouds from B to C waypoints, it's going to be 15,300. Okay. All right. So I really think that it's going to be visual, and by the time we get there, the sun will be on the west, giving us some shadows, so be careful with this. And because you may not be able to see something in shadow flying in the canyon. And nothing special. This is the north range of China Lake facility, and they're open, they're working, and we have some targets there which we're not going to use today, because this is a navigation training. This is not a strike training mission. All right, so alternate field for the procedure and also for our for destination is China Lake right here. They have a good weather, and for flight planning you can refer as well to 24-hour forecast right here that we have in our briefing package. The briefing package is distributed between pilots probably 3 hours in advance, so putting actual weather there doesn't really make sense. And you have your forecast here, which covers all the flight time and which is favorable. The altimeter setting is 2998 for China Lake area, and at Lemoore this is going to be 2980 following the cycling we had yesterday. Okay. All right. We should be landing 1 hour before civil twilight end. That's 16:29. So, okay, let's check data card for that. So, The sunset is going to happen at 17:29. The CO2 line will end 17:29. I want this mission to be in daylight, so our landing time, let's see here, 16:33. Yes, so we'll land 1 hour before that. All right, hopefully, and most likely this will be a VFR overhead brake at Lemoore, radar vectoring to Lemoore 3 miles initial, and overhead brake for runway 32 left. Alright, and switching frequencies as directed by the ATC. Alright, let's check weather radar information, and as you can see, it doesn't really give us some any significant returns here, so we'll just close this tab. So weather is not a factor for that flight. Alright, so we have active sky running in real weather mode right here, and it also says that it's all clear. A little more. Alright, so let's check time. It's now 22:35. We still have some time till our walk time, which is 1500 or 2300 Zulu. So we're gonna talk about airspace just a little more. So we start with Class Delta airspace right here, and as this is a navigation training, it covers all the aspects of operational navigation, which means just being able to get somewhere where you can actually drop bombs or practice your formation flight or whatever you and your wingman are going to do. So what airspace classes are going to cross, and all the airspace above 18,000 feet is Class A airspace, and we'll probably get there by the exit of Lemoore B MOA. Let's see if Lemoore B is working. Yep, Lemoore B is working, and this is an airspace from, let's find this, yep, Lemoore B. It starts from flight level 180 to 260, and MOA starts from 050 for 5,000 feet and below 18,000 feet. So we will talk to Lemoore approach right here, 125.9 probably. They have control over this airspace, and they will hand us over to Auckland Center. Alright, this is a special use airspace, which means that a speed below 10,000 feet, 250 knots, is not applicable there. We can fly whatever speed we need, so we're going to keep 350 knots for operational purposes. And after that, we will be flying in Class A airspace up to the point where we'll cross 18,000 feet to descend to 17,000 feet, which is a filed altitude for our entrance to Isabella MOA. Bakersfield MOA is not working. We will have to report the entry point to Joshua Control right here, and that's it. And while we will be flying in Class A airspace, which is not a special use airspace, just a regular airspace above 18,000 feet, we've got to keep normal rates of descent, standard rate turns, 3 degrees per second, and act like a regular airline traffic. We're not allowed to do any unexpected maneuvers, so we have to be predictable for the traffic controller because we're not alone there, and there may be some airline traffic flying around or some general aviation, if we're lower than 18,000. Alright, so that's the airspaces we're going to operate in, and the entire Sidewinder procedure lays in military operations areas. The Sidewinder procedure is designed for use, as you can see right here in this document, for use below 3,000 feet. So everyone is aware of this, and there may be traffic operating in this airspace. And if for any reason you're getting above 3,000 feet AGL, report this immediately to Joshua approach, and also on the advisor frequency. But this is going to be the same thing for us, and we'll report that we're unable to keep low-level flight due to weather. They will give us a traffic information, but where the airplanes are flying in this airspace, if they have any, or they will just tell us that there's no traffic in the airspace. We're good to go to the next waypoint above the clouds. Okay, so that's the advantage of this procedure, because we're not limited in altitudes. If something happens, of course, because normally if you fly military training route, you have to stay within the route structure, which can be different. It may have different legs at different altitudes, and you have to stay within those altitudes. If you get out of the route structure, then you may be conflicting some general aviation traffic, because they are aware of this route, and they know that you're operating there, and they expect you to be within the route structure. Okay, so here this is a little bit simple. We just report that we're unable to proceed VFR and request traffic information from Joshua control. Alright. Okay, that's it. So we have 10 more minutes till our start time. So I'll see you there.